Hello, this is Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, and welcome to my global classroom. You know, several weeks ago, at the request of a Fortune 100 telecommunications company, I spoke to a group of talented, high-performing, high-potential middle managers working at the director's level and above. Now, what made this group so different? They were all black men. Everyone in the room was poised, persuasive, and held in high regard. These men not only generate revenue, but they know how to control it once it's on board. Their company convened this select group with the ultimate purpose of grooming them for possible C-suite positions. Yep, you heard me right. Clearly, this organization gets it, and I applaud this company for adding value to their development. Personally, I believe in the business proposition that proves when diversity leads, corporate America succeeds. Or, in the words of Michael Hyder, President and CEO of the Executive Leadership Council, and I quote, "Companies that double down on the most effective and proven DEI programs are creating a workforce that is more engaged and motivated, which leads to increased business performance." But let's be honest, corporate America's relationship with black males hasn't always been so nurturing. I can only imagine what it took for these guys to even make it to their current level. They obviously bet their careers on their talents and abilities, and amazingly, they lived to talk about it. You can recall it was only 4 years ago when the murder of George Floyd inspired a racial reckoning focused on the systemic discrimination of African Americans, and corporate America was very much a part of it. Blue chip companies up and down the Fortune 500 renew their commitment to DEI goals and grand pledges of support for equity and fairness. Well, unfortunately, though we seem to be on the precipice of great change, it was not the change that we hoped for. And now, over the past few months, the landscape has dramatically shifted. The Supreme Court's decision to strike down affirmative action in college admissions has opened the floodgates for legal challenges to DEI policies. And when it comes to the data, numbers don't lie. Case in point, in February of this year, Fortune magazine openly stated, and I quote, "Black CEO representation within the Fortune 500 is so bad that this year's 1.6% is a record high." Though black workers comprise 13% of the labor force, less than 5% reach senior executive status. You know, we can all recognize that the barriers and hurdles are ever present, especially as it relates to black males. I mean, research shows that black males experience microaggressions at a significantly higher rate compared to other groups. From colleagues using racially insensitive language to unconscious micro insults, such as being told, and I quote, "You know, you're not like the others," or, "You know, you're so articulate," or being mischaracterized as angry. Well, truth be told, those skilled managers who sat through my presentation, I can imagine they could write a book on the indignities they suffered along the way. But you know what? That was not the focus of my presentation. I mean, we all agreed that if we wallowed in all the slights and wasted time focusing on all the biases and the barriers, there's no way that we could be effective. Now, don't get me wrong, is it frustrating? Yes, but you can't allow it to derail your career. Our time together was geared to one objective and one objective only, and that was for me to share my advice to aspiring CEOs based upon what I learned decades ago when I surveyed the top 150 black executives in corporate America. I'm talking about from Ken Chennault to Richard Parsons, from Clarence Otis, Ann Fudge, and Ursula Burns. By implementing the following 5 insights taken from their personal lessons navigating that corner office, we can certainly speed up the pace of change. So let's begin. Insight number 5, build a support network and connectivity. Ron Williams, who during his tenure as CEO and chairman, Aetna Insurance was named Fortune magazine's most admired company. Williams emphasizes the importance of establishing developmental relationships early in your career. In addition to your immediate supervisor, every rising exec needs a coach and a cheerleader, someone who can provide both positive feedback and suggestive criticism. This individual should not only be willing to listen, but to discuss those touchy issues you may not want to hear. Taking the time and initiative to establish and nurturing these relationships throughout your corporate career will prove invaluable. Insight number 4, don't run from a crisis, embrace it. Growing up in a New York City housing project, my mother would always remind me, recalls former Xerox CEO Ursula Burns, that where you are is not who you are. If you're in a bad place, it's only temporary and doesn't change the core value of what you bring to the world. In 2000, Burns was one of 100 execs offered a severance package when Xerox was on the brink of bankruptcy. Initially, she decided to leave, but changed her mind. Deep down, she knew if she left, others would view it as a sign that the company was unsalvageable. Well, in the aftermath, she discovered how much Xerox valued her and how much she valued Xerox. Then Xerox CEO Ann Mulcahy caught notice and eventually passed the leadership baton on to Burns. The CEO of the future doesn't ask team members to do something that he or she wouldn't do. When making difficult but necessary business decisions, face them head on. Lead with compassion and empathy. Modulate your emotional response with clarity and confidence. Give your team the information, resources, and support they need to do their best work. Insight number 3, assess your skills and range of experience. Charting a career in today's corporate environment has never been easy, especially for people of color, says Jerry DeVard, who at one time was the chief marketing officer and the highest ranking black executive, male or female, for Verizon. She says we play on a different playing field. So before you agree to jump through hoops to prove your worth to the company's bottom line, it would be wise to look inside. Are you motivated? Is the drive there? Are you passionate about your work assignments as well as those whom you interact with? Well, I'm telling you, formulate a plan around what you want to work for and in what capacity. Yes, it's true. Most of us aspire to move up in the organization. But do you possess the necessary skill set to handle that dream job? The truth is that unless you learn to master at least one skill set, well, you'll have little chance of leaving your mark. Insight number 2, class is always in session. You know, when Rosalind Brewer left her group president position at Kimberly-Clark and accepted a lower level position at Walmart, the doubters questioned the move. But she said she had to learn retail from the ground up. And I quote, "I was in full learning mode," she recalled. "Though some didn't see it that way, I took a step back in order to move miles ahead. Whenever I take on a new role, I become a student of the business." When Brewer joined Walmart after leaving Kimberly-Clark, she not only changed jobs, she shifted industries. From consumer products, which she knew like the back of her hand, to retail, where she was a novice. Though her job was based in Atlanta, she personally moved to Bentonville, Arkansas, and took the first step on a personal 90-day learning journey. And there she remained for 3 months, running laps between the home office and area stores, greeting customers, meeting stakeholders, coaching team members, and studying throughout the night in her tiny hotel room. She said it was the best thing that she could ever do. So what am I saying, students? Be inquisitive. The CEO of the future is inquisitive, agile, and flexible. He or she seeks information and learns from it and adjusts, without the need to appear to have all the answers or to be the smartest person in the room. And then last but not least, the number 1 insight number 1, strive to be a better leader, not to be CEO. You know, Ken Chennault of American Express never aspired to be CEO until he was approached with the possibility late in his career. He just focused on adding value to the company. If you are great at what you do and ambitious, you are probably on the fast track to the top. And once you recognize that, it is easy to play it safe and be more calculated and self-focused in your approach. Avoid this tendency at all costs. Keep taking risks and focus on supporting those around you. Leading is a privilege, Chennault points out, not an entitlement. An excellent reminder for anyone who aspires to lead in their organization. Well, students, there you have it. This was the gist of what I shared to those aspiring Black C-suite leaders. So until next time, this is Dr. Kimbrough in the Global Classroom. And never forget, arguably your wealth choice is your best choice. God bless.